Hi guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today, as the title says, I am going to be doing an unhaul, which we will get to later. But the first thing that I want to talk about is my life update that I'm really excited to share with you guys. It's not really going to affect anything on my channel, but it will affect my background. And if you have been following me on Instagram, then you probably already know that I've been talking about this because I've just been so excited. But I will be moving. I will be moving out of state. This is the first time I've ever made a really big move like this. So I'm really excited, but also really nervous because I'll be in a new space. I will be in a new area and all the things that come with that. So like I said, I'm really excited, but I'm also slightly nervous. But currently I live in Indiana and I will be moving to North Carolina. So the reason why I'm moving to North Carolina is just because I like the area. I am in a point in my life right now where I'm able to make a move. So I really had to sit and think about whether or not I was going to do this now, do this later, especially because I have some other things going on with my family. But I decided that it's now or never. I am just in a really good position to move. I chose North Carolina again just because I really like the area. I visited there plenty of times over the years. I actually went down there last year to do some apartment hunting, and that was where I got the realization of a lifetime. I did not realize how much people have been paying for rent in these apartments. The reason why I did not really realize how high rent was these days is because I've been living in my current apartment for 10 plus years. It is the first apartment that I have ever moved into. And I've always been the type of person where if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I've never had any problems here in my current place. So I've kind of been grandfathered in at a price that's really reasonable. And at this point in time, it's probably considered cheap. So imagine my shock when I go out here apartment hunting and am slapped in the face with how much people are paying. So that was another thing that I had to consider was, can I afford to move out? Do I want to pay this high rent? The answer is yes, I do. I want to move. I have outgrown my space and I want to be somewhere new. Again, with my background, I said this is going to change. Listen, I hate where I film right now. I'm literally filming in the corner of my room. My bed is right here. I also have my desk in my room because I work from home. Like I said, everything just feels so cluttered. I feel claustrophobic in my room because it's being overtaken by books, overtaken with work stuff. And so in my new place, I will have a 2-bedroom apartment. So of course, one of the rooms is going to be my bedroom, and then the other room I'm converting into an office slash filming space slash library. That is what I'm really excited about, is having that second bedroom so that I can put all of my books and my desk and all of that, and like I said, just convert it into that workspace, and I can leave my bedroom as a room, which I'm so ready to just have my bedroom back. So I don't think that you guys will notice anything changing on my channel besides the background. I am planning on bulk filming so that there won't be a break in between my videos from now and when I move. And then it'll also give me some time to catch up on some content that I want to create. So that is my life update, is I'm moving. So if some of you guys are just here for the unhaul, we will go ahead and get into that. So I have my books separated into 3 different piles. So I have books that I've DNF'd, books that I've read, and then books that I just don't think I'm ever going to read. And we will just go ahead and go through those, and I will tell you guys what I plan to unhaul. So the first stack that I'm going to go through is just all of the books that I plan to unhaul that I have DNF'd. The first one being The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. I actually did a video where I compared this book to another book called Hidden Figures to figure out which one is better. Obviously, I DNF'd this one. It was boring. That's the only thing that I could say about this. It was boring, and it really hit you over the head with this feminist trope that it was trying to do, and I was over it. And I think I barely got halfway through this book before I decided to DNF. It is a series. A lot of people seem to really enjoy this one, but it just did not work for me, so I'm getting rid of it. The next one that I have is Paradise One by David Wellington. I just talked about this here recently in one of my recent reads. I was doing a buddy read for this one, and yeah, this is a adult horror. Again, I was really bored. Nothing was happening. I want to say I got at least like 100 pages into this one before I decided to put it down. This is one of the books that I was going to hold on to, and I was thinking, well, maybe I just picked it up at a really bad time and I'll pick it up later. But nope, I decided that I'm never going to pick this up, so it's going to go. So I also just talked about this one, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's a young adult mystery, and I did not enjoy this one. Again, the common theme with all of these books is it was boring to me. It did not have like all of the games that it was supposed to have, at least the point that I stopped, and I got well over like 100 pages into this book, and it just was not giving what I thought it was going to give. Although a lot of people really enjoy not only this book but the entire series, so I might just be in the minority with that one. But not only am I getting rid of this book, also getting rid of the Hawthorne Legacy, which is the next book in the series. I bought these at the same time, I believe, and from the way people were talking about it, I just assumed that this was going to be something that I loved. It was not. So unfortunately, both of these have to go. So this next one that I'm getting rid of, and this is actually the second time that I got this book, and I will never pick it up again. But this is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. And this is a adult horror mystery. It is a favorite amongst a lot of people. Like I said, I've gotten this book twice. So I bought it the first time and I tried to get into this one and I just could not get into it. I was confused. I didn't really care for like all of the footnotes and trying to figure out what was happening. So then I unhauled it and then I bought it used so that I could do a buddy read with one of my friends, because I thought, well, maybe if we read it together, we will enjoy it more, or at least try and figure out what this book was trying to do. But we both struggled with this and ended up DNFing it really early on. So I just don't think that this book is for me. Then the last book that I DNF'd, and I DNF'd this early this year, and that's Severance by Ling Ma. This is a adult dystopian. A lot of people love this book. Again, it was just kind of boring to me. It was very slow moving. Nothing was happening. And so I had to DNF. So then the next round of books that I am going to be unhauling are books that I have read, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it again. Don't really remember much from what I read, and basically just books that I did not like. So we will go ahead and start with Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne. This was fine. It's an adult romance. It did not leave any lasting impression on me. It was very slow moving. We were in these characters' head for a long time, and for us to be in somebody's head that long and me not care about the characters, this just was not going to work. So I'm going to get rid of this. Lone Women by Victor Lavelle. This one saddens me because I really wanted to enjoy this. This is an adult horror, and I've heard such good things about this author. And so this was my first book that I have ever read by him. And I'm not going to give up on him just yet. The next book that I want to pick up from him, which is his more popular book, is The Changeling, which I've heard nothing but good things about. But this one, unfortunately, just did not work for me. Next one that I'm going to be getting rid of is Dead Leaves by Kellen Patrick Burke. I read this last October, obviously for an October read, and the stories in here, there were a couple in here that I really liked, and then the rest of them I did not. So I am going to go ahead and get rid of this. So here is another one that it saddens me that I'm going to get rid of it, but it is All Her Little Secrets by Wanda M. Morris. This is a favorite amongst a lot of people as well. For me, the mystery was fine, but like the main character in this book, this is an adult mystery. The main character in this book was really annoying. She was a lawyer. She was making stupid decisions and mistakes throughout this whole book that someone that claims to be a lawyer should not be making. So I was really frustrated by this, but this is a book that I would recommend to others, but it just, like I said, just did not work for me. So this next book is The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. This is a young adult horror mystery. And obviously I did complete this one, but I, to this day, do not understand what this book was about. I feel like I was just going through the motions when reading this. It has something to do with bees. I have no idea what the heck this book was supposed to do, trying to do, I don't know. I did really enjoy the main character in this book though. His name was Mars. He was gender fluid. But what this book was about, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people really like this book because I did not. So the next one that I will be unhauling is Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. I read this years ago, and this is a young adult mystery, and I remember enjoying it. I vaguely remember the plot. I do remember though that I had said that this plot was something that I feel like I would have seen on Lifetime, which isn't bad, but it just felt really Lifetime movie-ish. And yeah, I was going through my shelves trying to figure out what books do I really want to keep, what books I don't want to keep, and this is just one I don't really remember all that well, so there's no reason for me to keep it. So then the last book of the ones that I have already read is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. If you guys have been here, you know I despise this book. I gave it a 1 star. It's a adult mystery horror. I can't even remember, but I did not like this book. It spent too much time talking about a friendship, not enough on the mystery, and then the ending was really rushed. A lot happened, and actually the ending is what I wish this whole book like revolved around, but this was just a strange one, and I think it's either going to work for you or it's not going to work for you. But I do have a standalone review for this book that I will have linked if you guys are curious about it, but I do not like this book. So then all of the rest of the books that I am going to be talking about are books that I have not read. They have just been chilling on my shelves and they need to go because I don't think that I will ever pick these up. So the first one is The Suicide House by Charlie D'Elia, and this is a adult horror. I remember randomly picking this up from Target because it sounded interesting, and it takes place inside, I want to say, a fictional school in Indiana, and I was like, oh, let me read this book that's set in Indiana, and then I've never picked it up again, so I don't need it. So then the next one that I have is Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. Now, if you guys have been here, you know I love me some Michael J. Sullivan. I'm not getting rid of this because I don't think I'm ever going to read it, but I'm getting rid of this mass market paperback version because I actually have a hardcover version where it's signed by the author. I got it through his website, so I just did not feel like I needed 2 copies of this, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. So then the next one I have is Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. This is also the author that writes the Dresden Files, which I do have the first book in the Dresden Files that I will eventually read because I am interested in that book. But for this one, this has been sitting on my shelf forever. And I think I've seen a review or 2 of this that has been really mediocre. So it just did not inspire me to want to probably ever pick this up unless I just absolutely fall in love with the Dresden Files and then want to go back and read his backlist. But as of right now, this is not something that I'm going to read. Then I have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think we've all heard of The Great Gatsby. I have no idea when I picked this up, where I picked this up. I found it as I have started to pack up, and after looking at it, I mean, I just don't think I'm ever going to read this. I know the story of The Great Gatsby. I've seen the movie. I read it in high school. I think probably when I picked this up, whenever that was, I wanted to do a reread of it, but I had no desire at this point or anytime soon, so it's gonna go. So then the next one that I have is Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. I don't remember when I got this. It's a adult mystery. Don't think I'm probably ever gonna read it. I have seen, again, like a review or 2, and they just seemed really mediocre, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. So then the next book that I'm going to unhaul is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. At the time that I picked this up, I was interested in it. I'm no longer interested in it. I think it's like an adult mystery, maybe thriller in there. I'm not sure. I, at one point, thought that I wanted to start reading Agatha Christie's work, but you know what? I'm just really not interested. I know a lot of books are inspired by Agatha Christie's works, and you know what? That's good enough for me. So I don't think I need to read this one. So then the next one that I have is The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. I picked this up because I had read another book by Christina Henry last year or the year before that I really enjoyed, and the name of it is escaping me right now, but I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to go ahead and read something else by her. But this has been sitting on my shelf forever, and another book where I have seen a couple of people like review it, and the reviews have been really mediocre. So again, not inspiring me to pick this up. So then the next book that I will be getting rid of is Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. I think this is like a young adult sci-fi novel. It has been sitting on my shelf forever. I don't think that I'm ever going to get to this one, and I have lost my interest for it. But I just found out, or I've heard, or I could totally be making this up, but the lady on the cover of this is actually Chrissy Teigen. And when I had picked this up, I thought she looked familiar. I was like, man, this woman on here looks really familiar. And I'm pretty sure this is like Chrissy Teigen, if you can see. But again, I could be making that up, so I don't know. But I am getting rid of this book. So then the next one that I'm going to be getting rid of is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a really pretty copy of this that I got from Barnes and Nobles. Again, it is just a book that has been sitting on my shelf forever. And all the books that I have sitting on my shelves, I eventually do want to read them. But this one, I don't know, like I've heard people describe it and talk about it and really enjoy it, but the more and more I hear people talk about this, it just does not sound like anything that I want to read anymore. So even though this is a really pretty copy of this book, I'm going to get rid of it. So then the next one that I'm going to be getting rid of is Flight or Fright by Stephen King and Bev Vincent. Again, I've had this on my shelf forever. I don't even remember when I bought this, why I bought this, why it interested me. I don't know. Maybe it's because it had something to do with planes. But this is just not something that I'm going to be picking up ever. So then the last books that I will be getting rid of is actually a series, A Curse So Dark and Lonely series. I don't know if it has another name, but the first book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. And then we have A Heart So Fierce and Broken. And then the last book is A Vow So Bold and Deadly. So I'm getting rid of this series because it is one of those series that I purchased the whole series at once. Well, I purchased the first book and then I purchased the next two books. That's why they're not all hardbacks. But I thought that this was going to be something that I was going to really enjoy. It is like a young adult romance, maybe. I know it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and a lot of people have really liked this first book in the series, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, but then have not really enjoyed the next two books in the series. So I just don't have any interest in this anymore. And what I have told myself that I'm going to do from here on out is only buy the first book in the series for situations like this. If I decide that I no longer want to read it, or if I read the first book and then don't like it, I don't have to worry about trying to unhaul or waste my money on the rest of the series. So from here on out, I'm just going to buy one book at a time in a series, or at least I'm going to try to do that. We'll see how I hold to that. But yeah, so these are going to be the last books that I'm going to be getting rid of. So those are going to be all the books that I will be unhauling. So again, you'll probably see this background, this setup in this video, and then two more other videos before we see like a total change in my space. So that is all that I have for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.